But seriously, I know it sounds harsh.
I'll put some plugins.
I know it sounds harsh, but I wouldn't sit here
harsh.
and bankroll her bad behavior.
No way. That doesn't sound harsh. That's the answer.
I've
This
been
is
like,
what
this-
I'm telling
this
you.
incident-
Cut off her cards and tell her to get a job.
I'm like, and since you don't think we have a problem with the fact that we're two married people staying in two different parts of the house and our lifestyles are totally separate, then why should I sit here and continue to pay bills for something and you're not doing anything?
Right.
So you're going to have to pull your weight, all 300 pounds of it, because
that's a
I'm
lot of
not
weight.
going to keep doing it.
Absolutely. I agree.
And either she's going to meet him halfway on this, or she's going to probably give him pushback. But when the cards are canceled, the cards are canceled.
So what, she not going to get up?
She might.
That's the only way that you're going to get her off her duff. As long as you just allow her to spend and stock up things and not be clean and not cook it. That's too much.
I would just have a moment and just like get one of those portable dumpsters that you can get like from Home Depot. And like, you know, they're like, and you call them to come pick it up. I think waste management.
I'm telling you,
I
would get that cleaned up and
I'm tell you
cleaned
what
out.
happened. I would go in there. I'm going to tell you how postal I would be. I would go in that room and that closet and anything that didn't have any real value to it, I would chuck that. I'm serious. I'd be like, here it is. We have a house and you're just sitting here not taking care of something. You're not cleaning anything.
No,
that's
not
just,
cleaning.
it's not healthy for anybody. I would be kind of mean about this. But here's the thing too, though. I wouldn't dance around the subject, though.
No.
I don't believe that not addressing the issue, like what he didn't mention, he didn't really say anything about love.
No,
he didn't say
that. Clearly, that's been out of the window.
I'm just saying
That's out of the window.
He didn't mention that he didn't love her anymore. He just pretty much he said, I would love to have a divorce. It's just too expensive. And given the amount of time they've been married, it probably means that she'd be part of his pension if he has that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they'd have to split everything down the middle. But if she was smart, she'd realize the situation that she's in. She's not in a position to take care of herself because he's doing everything. But we would sit down and have a heart-to-heart and be like, look, I'm not happy like this. This is not what I signed up for. Now, nobody's perfect, but I'm not okay with the fact that you sit here all day and don't do anything and I go to work. You won't clean the house. Like there's a give and take with this.
Meal?
You won't cook a meal.
Crazy,
there's a give and take to this. And it's not saying that because
and what are you eating? That's what...
Well,
what are you eating?
What I really want to know is you're
eating something
before I get home.
Right. You are cooking something.
Somewhere in the back of that closet
is a
mini fridge and a microwave. Here's the thing. He's allowed this to go on too long.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, we don't know her side of the story. We only
don't have a side of the story.
There's two sides to every story. There is.
It is.
We don't know how it got to this point. We don't know. For all we know, here's the thing. Based on some of the things,
what could her side of the story
let me just say
be?
this, and I'm not trying to pin a mental illness on anybody, but a lot of times when you see people like this that fall into filth and they don't take care of themselves, there's usually some form of depression underlying.
Sure.
So what we don't know is, okay, if she didn't start out like this,
right? This is what I'm saying. What if they did? Right.
What's going on? So see, I said, well, he didn't tell us in the letter. I mean, you don't go from being happy and cheerful and we get married to all of a sudden I balloon into like, Oompa Loompa,
right?
And I'm stocking things in the closet.
No, something clearly happened, and it could be a form of depression, but you can't let her stay there. You got to pull her out of it.
But that's my thing, and so the response for me can't be, well, purely she's happy. I don't know that she is happy living like this, and I really believe honestly that he needs to address it. And I'm not saying, now, this might be irreparable damage. Maybe they can't fix their marriage.
No.
But clearly something is wrong when a person gets to this point.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like she's a hoarder. I mean, seriously, like she's a hoarder. She's shopping. She's stockpiling stuff. She's not bathing. It smells. Yeah. I mean, these are all signs of usually people that have something wrong with them.
Yeah.
And it should have never honestly been allowed to go
this far.
This is
20 years.
And I'm going to be funny. And you don't need to write somebody a letter to get an answer.
No.
You need to walk across the house.
He knew when he was writing this what the answer to this solution was. He knew, all right, bummed out, you got to cut off all cards.
But yeah, first conversation, if you need to manage your finances,
she needs a job.
You got to have a conversation with her.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a conversation. I swipe it if you, I dare you to swipe it.
Because you're married. And
swipe it.
That's not the way marriage works.
Look,
not healthy ones, and this is an unhealthy one.
This is not a healthy marriage.
I know, but if you're trying to right some wrongs.
No, this is War of the Roses now.
Yes, she's not gonna put that much effort into it.
See, I would like, this is War of the Roses now. We are separate. We live separate lives in separate parts of the house for 20 years. I don't have to be nice to you anymore. Swipe it.
You don't have to.
Try.
But if you want to find some form of remedy to this, because here's the thing.
No, I got the remedy. Try to swipe it. See what's gonna happen. Order something.
See, but you never. See, you're not being fair.
I am being fair. She's not being fair.
I'm not saying. No. I'm not saying that you shouldn't not deal with the debit. Yes, you need to cut our finances down. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But I still think it needs to come with a conversation about this is why this is going to happen. I'm not trying to penalize you, but I don't know if you've seen our finances here. We're in debt. And it's in debt because you see all these purchases you made. So these cards are instantly done.
She knows that. You don't have to have that kind of conversation. She knows
You don't have to, but here's the thing. When you want to shoot from the hip and just do stuff right. She's not going to like the answer one way or the other. But at least he can say, I did things the right way. Because this has been the wrong way for 20 years. Rob, right? Okay, you're the fella in this circumstance. What do you do? I'm serious, and don't give no weird answer either. Don't talk. Don't talk. If you're gonna give me some kind of strange, odd answer, then don't turn on the mic.
Don't talk.
But you're a guy. When you hear this, what do you say? Your buddy calls you up and confesses this all to you and says, "Man, Rob, I've been hiding this for like 40 years. What do I do? What's your advice?" Now you heard it, 2 women. We're kind of split a little bit down the middle. What do you say to your buddy? What are you doing? Stop taking deep breaths and just answer.
That's what I would do. I'll take a deep breath because really, he would say, "How long have you known about this?" And then it'll be it's between me and him, you know.
But he's like, "But I've been married to her for 40 years. We've been sleeping in separate rooms for 20 years. You know, you barely see her, so this is how she's changed." I mean, he explains all these things. As a guy, what do you say? Do you say, do you take her advice and say you need to cut off all the credit because you guys are in debt? I mean, how do you deal with, you still got to deal with the house smells. I mean, you can't make her lose weight. That's her choice.
Right.
But the situation, like the house, it smells.
Well, you just get a maid. Get a maid and just cut your ties.
Okay.
Cut your ties, get a maid.
Would you move out?
Yeah, I would move out.
See, this is what she's got to get up and fend for herself at some point.
Okay.
If you live in a village like out this way in the western suburbs, the village has code enforcement. So
half the house is okay, half the house is not okay.
Right.
You know. I don't know. It's one. I think it's a difficult situation because, like I said, we only hear his side of the story.
Not difficult for me.
I mean, you're right. He has to take some proactive steps because the key thing is he said he's going in debt, and he's like, it's Rinky. It's coming over to his side of the house now.
This is you imposing, impeding on my happiness now. This is crazy. This is crazy.
You've just written her off, haven't you?
Yeah, no. I will cut. Everything is cut off.
You gonna turn the power off too?
The lights too. You will not. There will be no View. You're not watching the View today. No Judge Judy. You gonna get up.
No QVC.
No, none of it. None of that. Your power is out now. Keep playing with me. Now, we'll have a conversation. Oh, I bet you we will. After I cut all your stuff off, yeah, we will start talking. I bet you start talking.
See, I'm trying to take the professional.
Well, you do that.
I'm going to say what I would say to anybody who was sitting in front of me. If one of my patients told me this story, I would tell them that obviously you've had a problem that you've allowed to fester and grow. And I do agree you must address the financial part immediately. I do agree. And I don't have a problem with canceling the cards because that's an issue. You're still going to have to pay the debt. So I have no problem with canceling the cards. You got to give her some money because obviously she's got to go buy food or whatever. You're not trying to torture
She's not
her.
cooking for me.
Okay, but still. But here's the problem. You've allowed her to sit home and not have a job. So you just can't just say, and I'm not going to give you anything. Because then what is she supposed to do? I'm like saying, at least give her enough. And here's the thing.
I bet you she gets up and start moving.
Maybe.
She will get up off of her duff and start moving. And that's all we want.
And here's the thing. And give her a time frame like, look, you need to go find a job in the next, and here's the thing. We don't know what she did. We don't know what her background is. Right. But, like, look, in the next 30 to 45 days, I need you to go get a job.
She can work somewhere.
Because I'm tired of being the only person who's going to work, and this financial burden's on me.
And you're not doing anything.
And you're not pulling your part.
Right.
And so we need to balance this out. Mm-hmm. I mean, and maybe if he writes this ship, it sounds like the marriage can't be salvaged just from the way he talks about it. But at least maybe he can get to a point where they can split and go their separate ways.
Sure.
But at least, out of respect for the person at one point of time that you love, like I said, there's probably...
She doesn't have any respect for me.
Or herself, apparently.
Right.
Honestly, Nikki, I think there's something wrong with her.
It is something wrong with her, but that can be remedied. You have no idea when you put the hammer down, people get like, oh, I'm not depressed anymore.
That's not that simple. That's
okay.
not. Because if pills can't fix...
If
pills don't fix people like that, money don't fix people like that.
Okay.
She might have... she's
not going to continue to lay there if she doesn't have anything to shop and buy and do. If she's laying in the dark, you think she's just going to lay there?
Okay, that's cruel and unusual punishment. Next, you're going to talk about just go buy some Nutrilopes and give that to her. That's the next step. Stock kitchen full of Nutrilopes?
Yes. That's the next step. This is your sustenance. If you want to act crazy, then this is your
sustenance. 1,900 calories?
Yes. This is all you need.
It has all the nutrition value that you're supposed to have.
That's all you need.
Puts a little applesauce on the side. That's me. Even I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
And I have a very low tolerance threshold for
This is just wrong. It is
wrong, but let me just say this. I would have never allowed it to get to this point in the first place. I'm not quite sure what he was doing that he stepped out for 20 years and didn't notice how the spiral was happening. Like, dude, what were you doing? Just going to work every single day and ignoring what was going on in the other part of the house?
But today I've had it up.
See, it's one thing. Some people decide to live separate lives, and that's. But this wasn't. I don't think it was a concerted decision. I think it just kind of happened.
It could have.
Like all of a sudden, like how do you all of a sudden you're married? Just decide. I think I'm gonna go move into the bedroom on the other side, and somehow we don't have a conversation about that. Don't you miss me?
No.
What?
No. Clearly, I don't.
I'm saying. So all of a sudden, I started sleeping in the spare bedroom on the side of the house, and no one thinks that's odd. And all of a sudden, this is progressive.
It was probably a conversation. Like
you snore, I'm gonna go sleep in another room.
I'm gonna go over here, whatever it is. But it was a conversation that they had, and it's like, okay, you gonna stay over there? You not coming back? All right.
And
then that's how it is.
Bummed in San Diego. If you're taking advice from us, you are split right down the middle.
Well, I would do Nikki's route. If you want to, you want to see some action.
Shutdown City is not the answer.
Turn up, power, unplug our TV and turn up power off. You'll get results. I promise. You'll have a meal tomorrow.
Or you might get a meal.
Hot meal tomorrow.
Come there looking for you. Don't do it bummed in San Diego. All right, we're gonna get ready to take a break. But before we do, we've got one more food for thought.
Okay.
Did you imagine having family being really critical of your children? Or a child specifically. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about another, Dear Abby letter, and Nikki's going to weigh in on how these parents should handle this. All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Are you looking to be on the radio traffic news? Sports news?
Holy cow! Yes!
Or how about that jazz? It's Smooth Jazz Radio with Rob G. Live 365 and iHeartRadio Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. Join Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio for 3 incredible days of music, empowerment, and family fun. We'll be broadcasting live from the historic Idlewild Resort on Williams Island in Idlewild, Michigan, all weekend long. The fest is held to commemorate and celebrate the history of well-known African-American entertainers and professionals who performed and owned property at the resort prior to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. See live performances by Paul B. Smith, T. Lucas and the Urban Jazz Coalition, Althea Renee and Demetrius Neighbors, Paul Dozier and Margaret Bell, Paula Atherton and New Era, Kimmy Horn, Markeel Jordan, and the incomparable Angela Winbush. So make sure you join us July 10th through the 12th at the Idlewild Music Fest on Williams Island in Idlewild, Michigan. For tickets and more information, go to idlewildmusicfest.org. Idlewild and Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. Now that's a match made in heaven. Join the conversation. Call at 708-223-0030 or get social with the show via Facebook and Twitter at The Maya Akai Show or Instagram at Maya Akai.
All right. It is 1:41 here in Chicago. That's Central Standard Time. That's right. We're past lunch. We moved into the second half of the show. Of course, you're tuned into the Maya Akai Show featuring comedian Nikki Brayden.
Hello, lovelies.
And we are always coming to you live from the Smooth 90.5 FM HD radio studio, as well as you can listen to us via Sirius Radio, channel 432. And always, if you're at work, locked into your computer, and you can't get to either one of those, we always stream online via Live 365. If you'd like to watch and listen to see the happenings here in the studio, you can always go to the station website, www.wgsjbcradio.com, and you can click the live stream link and watch. Or
Watch me get fired up.
That's right. Or you can actually click and go to Live 365. Everything is there. If you want the simple route, you can always just go to my Facebook page, The Maya Akai Show, and click the links there.
Yep.
All right, so we're in the food for thought segment of the show. That part where, it's things that don't have easy answers. But it's worth chewing on to figure out if we can maybe come to some middle ground. Because sometimes people have these real life situations and they just don't know what to do.
Right.
They feel stuck in the middle.
And I am here for you.
They want to do the right thing. And this is Nikki B's. This is her telling you what to do. Now, see, I'm trying to be the voice. She's the devil, and I'm like, look, don't do that. You're going to end up, coming up with a steak knife or something crazy. Listen to what she's talking about. Her remedies. But you know what? The first one, it's a complicated one. It's a spider web. It has a lot going on to it. Now, the second one, on the flip side, I think there might be a different answer to this one.
Okay, let's see what this one is about.
So, dear Abby, my husband and I have a happy, well-adjusted, only child who shares and gets along with others. But a few family members continually comment that they are surprised he has these characteristics since he's an only child. They make negative remarks about only children in general and act as though he suffers because he doesn't have siblings. When they visit, they seem surprised that entertaining multiple people in our home with their children doesn't upset us and isn't unusual. I pointed out I have friends who have only children, and they're happy, well-adjusted, successful adults. Yet, the relatives continue to make hurtful comments. At Christmas, my sister remarked that she doesn't feel we are a real, end quotes, air quotes, family because we only have one child. I found it hurtful that this intelligent woman would say such a thing. What is the best way to respond to these remarks? I feel like I need to educate as well as inform them they need to stop hurting me. Happy with one. Now, what Dear Abby said on this was, a quick start on your road to recovery would be to recognize that relatives may make these snarky comments because they are jealous. The next time you receive what you interpret to be criticism because of the size of your family, tell these people you heard them. I can't even get it out. You heard them the first time they made their tasteless remarks, and not to repeat it again. Okay. Yeah, did she shoot too much from the hip or what?
No. This is a thing that's children. I can't talk about this because that would tick me off. Like my boundaries are my children. You don't have a right to say. You don't get to tell me how. I don't want to hear your opinion. Don't tell me how many children I can have. Don't tell me I can have too many. That's not your business and it's not your place. And guess what, sister at Christmas, it's your last one.
Sister at Christmas. Well, first of all,
no. You can't do this. What's wrong with being an only child? You're an only child.
I'm an only child.
Right. Did you not play well with others?
Played fine with other kids.
Okay, so what does that mean? So you have one child, you're confused?
I was fiercely independent.
Right.
Granted, I think sometimes I was probably a bit more mature than other kids. Mm-hmm. But I interacted fine with kids, had friends, did things that kids do. Didn't think it was awkward when I was around other kids.
See,
so I think it's strange that they would make a big deal about.
They don't like her.
That's what I'm saying. Because
they don't like you.
Because to me, that's a strange thing to nitpick on.
Yes, they just don't like you.
And
it has nothing to do with your child.
What she probably didn't tell us is she's probably in a position where there's some affluency and they do well and they have things.
Yes.
And her family probably is attributed it to the fact that, you have all this extra money because kids are expensive.
They really are.
Long gone are the days where, you could give a kid a bat and a ball and they go outside. It's like they want every tech gadget that there is.
Not even that, just feeding them.
Just all that stuff.
Gosh,
just clothing and feeding and just all the things it takes. It's an expensive thing. Mm-hmm. So I'll be honest. Here's what I always say. When people have really large families, like 5 or 6 kids, I'm always like, 1, how can you afford it?
Yeah.
But 2, I often feel, and I've talked to people who come from really large families, I'm like, do you really feel like your parents got to know you?
No.
Because there were so many of you. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, did they really know your characteristics and your personality?
Right.
And I'm not saying that it's not possible.
You can't give attention